If you want more to come into your life, you must let more life come out of you. Because life doesn't happen to you. It happens through and as you. You can't get it from the world because you brought it all with you. Literally, everything you could ever need to be all that you were created to be is already within you. A seed of infinite potential planted in the soil of your soul, awaiting the right conditions for it to grow. And those conditions are 100% in your control. This is the core of emergence. And when you understand and apply this, you can truly say Happy New Year and Happy New You, year after year. But not just every year, every month, every week, and every day. My name's Derek Rydall, transformational coach and emergineer. And I want to welcome you to the Best Year of Your Life podcast, where we highlight the top teachings and trainings from my private group program that have helped thousands of people around the world find their path, live their purpose, and make a mighty impact on the planet. To learn more about the Best Year of Your Life program and get a special bonus, please go to www.derekrydall.com/Best Year of Your Life. What I'm going to talk about today, we're going to get to hopefully a bunch of questions. But, this has been coming up for me lately, and I just wanted to share. I'd like you guys get some of the most emerging edge insights as they bubble up in my meditations and realizations. And there's been something I've been aware of lately. I've been aware of for a while, but becoming even more and more aware of. And it really is important because it ties into the whole idea of non-resistance and how to accelerate our emergence, our breakthroughs, our healings. And it's the idea that there really are most of what we struggle with and struggle against are what are called pseudo-problems. And a pseudo-problem is something that appears like a problem, but actually isn't. And it's the example I use is imagine right now that there's a goose in a bottle. And you have to get the goose out of the bottle. And you can't break the bottle. You can't obviously kill the goose. You have to get the goose out of the bottle without damaging the bottle or damaging the goose. How do you solve that problem? And I invite you to think about that for a moment. How do you solve that problem? And, people come up with all kinds of ideas and examples. They would starve the goose until the goose is really skinny and then slip the goose out of the bottle. Oh, and one little point, the bottle is, larger at the bottom and thinner at the top, so the goose fits in the bottom. And so they would starve it, make it thin, and then eventually slip the goose out or fill it with oil so the goose slips right out. And people come up with all manner of things. They would somehow cut the bottle and, be able to then repair it again without any visible damage or just all manner of things. But here's the problem. There is no goose in the bottle. I said, imagine there's a goose in the bottle. And so all of your attempts to solve it will never work because you imagined it. It's a concept, it's a belief, it's an idea in your mind. And it's kind of like if you were hypnotized on stage and the hypnotist told you that you were surrounded by a pit of snakes and you had to find a way to get rid of those snakes so that you could be safe again. And you would try all manner of things to get rid of those snakes. Calling in help, praying, affirming that there's no snakes, maybe praying and affirming that the snakes are safe, that you have the strength to withstand the snakes, maybe even building a bridge over the pit eventually to escape the snakes, but the snakes would still be there, and if you ever came back, they would be there again. So nothing you could do would allow you to get rid of those snakes, because there are no snakes. You were living under a trance, an induced trance. So no amount of solutions would ever solve that problem, because there were no snakes. Or another example is one that comes from India, I believe, that where the person gets out of the bath and in the bathhouse and they step on a snake, and they are immediately terrified that they're going to be bitten by it, only to eventually run out of there and tell that there's a snake in the bathroom, and all the people would gather around, and eventually a master, they try to come up with all kinds of ways to figure out how they're going to get rid of this snake. They have to call in a snake charmer. They have to stop taking baths in that room. And eventually a master comes along and just turns on the light and reveals that there is no snake there, that it was a rope coiled up by the tub, and this is in these bathhouses that would have access to the outdoors, so that there actually could be snakes, but it was just a rope and it was wet, and when the person stepped on it, it felt like a snake, and in their mind they saw snake, and they had all the subsequent thoughts and feelings of snake, of a snake problem, but there never was a snake. And so there was no solution to that snake, just like there was no solution to the snakes on the stage in that hypnotic spell. And there is no solution to the goose in the bottle, because there is no goose in the bottle. There are no snakes. It's all a hypnotic trance. And it's important to understand this, because this is what is primarily and ultimately, mystically speaking, the only thing that's really going on. Because the divine intelligence made everything that was made. As it says in the beginning of Genesis, in every great religion, it speaks of this divine intelligence, this omnipotence, that made everything out of its own nature and being. And nothing else was made. There's nothing outside of an infinite, omnipotent, omnipresent being, omnipresent intelligence. It is the only power, the only creative source.